Welcome everyone to this 100 days of no code expert AMA with Jeff Roberts, who's founder of or co-founder of Outseta, which is a tool that will bring all your subscription or membership nightmares together. Or that's a bad way of putting it. You're taking away your subscription headaches and sort of bring it all into one platform, so you can see a high-level view of your subscription-based business. But today, I think we're going to be essentially hearing a little bit about Outseta, how it started, then moving into a demo of some form, and then opening up for questions at the end. And feel free to chuck them in the chat as we go, and I'm sure Jeff is happy to field them as we go as well. So without further ado, I shall pass over to you, Jeff, to take it away. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I think I just provided a little bit of context on what Outseta is and sort of where the idea came from, but some further context. In short, Outseta is a all-in-one platform for running any sort of subscription or membership business. And the important thing to remember is it's tech stack agnostic. So however you deliver your product, whether it's a software product or a website or a membership site or a community, Outseta can plug into it, manage your subscriptions, and give you a series of other tools that you need to run your business. So our customers today fall largely into three buckets. There are other software companies like ourselves. Those tend to be more technical founders that integrate the product with their software product. Membership sites or communities, particularly in the no-code world. So we integrate with lots of membership sites built on Webflow, lots of communities built on Circle in particular. And then the third group would just be any sort of consultant or small agency that sells their services on a subscription or retainer basis. So that's what our customers tend to look like. And just in terms of product functionality, we've tried to distill sort of the common denominator pieces of software that every subscription business needs. So the product is sort of loosely organized into four major categories. The first is a subscription billing system. So you need some way to charge your customers. The second is a CRM, somewhere to put all your prospecting customer data. The third, I'll loosely call customer messaging tools. So we have email marketing, chat, a help desk, those sorts of features. And then the fourth is a series of widgets that kind of tie all this functionality together. So it is forms to sign up new users, allow them to choose a subscription, and then a login form as well, so they can come back to your site and log in thereafter. But that's kind of the product in a nutshell.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Yeah, so I guess yeah, it'd be awesome to actually see this thing in action, to show to the 100 Days community.
Let's pull it up. All right. Can you all see that okay?
Perfectly.
All right, so this is sort of the primary dashboard of Outseta. Let me just refresh this. Our entire business runs on our product. So you're looking at our own Outseta account, sort of fully loaded with data. But when you come here on this dashboard, you just get sort of a high-level overview of what's going on with your account, how many sort of people are in our CRM, how many customer accounts we have, and then you get an activity feed of basically everything that's going on with our customer base. But if you're interested in using Outseta for your business, I'll take you through sort of the most standard implementation process so you can understand the journey that you would go on yourself. So our customers typically start by coming to us with a need around billing. They need some way to charge their customers, set up subscriptions, and want to do so as quickly as possible. So the other sort of key message to relay here is, for an early stage business, much of our value prop is tied up in speed to market. We can sort of help you launch a fully functioning business very, very quickly. But once you've done that, the value prop kind of transitions to the power of all these tools being pre-integrated and working well together without needing to do any work to make that happen. So I'll try to demonstrate those two things as we go. But you start out, you come over here to the billing tab and click on settings. And Outseta uses Stripe as a payment gateway. So if you have an existing Stripe account, you can connect to your existing Stripe account in a single click. If you don't, you do need to go and create a Stripe account and connect it to Outseta. But Outseta uses Stripe solely as a payment gateway. So it's the plumbing that essentially processes your payments, but you don't set up products in Stripe. You set up all of your pricing plans, all of your products, everything you want to sell in Outseta. So once connected, there's really no reason for you to ever need to log into Stripe again. Second thing you're going to want to do is start setting up your pricing plans. So you come to billing and plans, just click add a plan, give your plan a name. You can have a free trial period if you want to. You can set monthly rates, annual rates, setup fees. If you want to sell add-on products, you can go ahead and do so. But as soon as you create a plan, those plans are live. And if you're connected to Stripe, you can start signing people up for those plans. So the third step, and really the implementation process itself, once you've done that, all lives here under this auth tab. And I'm going to talk quickly through the settings on this page because they're particularly important. But this is sort of a pattern you'll see throughout Outseta. There's a configuration page like this where we ask you some questions, you fill out some settings, and then we give you pre-configured embed codes that will bring the functionality that you're looking for to life on your site or in your product, whatever it might be. So the first thing to mention is we ask you what account mode you want to use, team mode or individual mode. So most membership software products essentially use what we call individual mode, where there's a one-to-one relationship between a person and a membership or a person and a subscription. But we also have team mode. So if you sell to businesses or companies where you need multiple people to be able to share a subscription, you can use team mode. So as a software company ourselves, we use team mode because we routinely sell to other businesses. These options here, if somebody goes ahead and signs up, we will then send a confirmation email to the user that validates their email address and prompts them to set a password. And then once they go through that workflow and log in, we redirect the user to whatever you set as your post login URL right here. And then finally, there's some sign up settings. So this is just when someone's subscribing, what information do you want to ask for from them? And after you complete these sorts of settings, you can jump over to the Embeds tab. And Outseta has 3 widgets, which are really the integration points between your product or site and Outseta. One is for signing up new users. The second is for logging them in. And the third we call our profile widget, which basically just allows your members, your subscribers to manage their subscription going forward. So there's essentially 2 ways you can implement Outseta. The fastest one is you take this quick start script that you see here, you drop it into all of your site pages, and then we give you links that will open up our widgets as a pop-up. So an example of this would be this demo site here. It's got that quick start script in the header of the site, but if I come here and click sign up, this is our sign up widget. So it opens as a pop-up. The user can say, I want to sign up for this membership. They enter their information and then they actually subscribe. Likewise, our login widget, if you click on the login link, it just opens up and allows you to log into a product that way. The second option is you can work with the actual widgets themselves and embed them directly on your website pages. So this is what we call our visual builder. It basically allows you to build the sign up process that you want, sort of see a live preview of what you'd be integrating with your website. And then once you like what you see, you click install your embed and we give you the code that you can drop into your website page. So just as an example of this, right now we're saying, okay, we want to embed a sign up process on one of our website pages. Right now we're showing a number of different pricing plans contained in what we call a plan family. But if you wanted to sign everybody up for the same plan to start, we'll say it's the startup plan, and you also want everybody to start on a monthly subscription. If you make those sorts of changes, because you've pre-selected a plan and a payment term, Outseta knows it can skip the user ahead a few steps in the sign-up process. And this is exactly the experience that you'd be integrating with your site. Whenever you're ready to go and you like what you see, you can click install your embed, and we generate a script that you just drop into your page that would bring this exact experience to life. And from a branding perspective, you can also come over here, click on customize design, and you can change the fonts, you can change the colors, you can edit the CSS directly, or if you wanted to use, say, light mode instead of dark mode, you can make those sorts of changes. So there's enough flexibility here that you can build something that really matches the aesthetic of your website. The login widget is the exact same thing. There's just less to configure. We allow people to log in either with an email address and password or with Google. And then the profile widget is the final sort of integration point. This is typically added to your site, so it's only accessible to somebody that has logged in. And then once they log in, it allows them to edit some information about themselves, edit some information about their business. If you are using team mode, it allows you to invite additional members to share your subscription. You can upgrade, downgrade, or cancel your subscription, and you can also maintain your credit card information. So it's just a self-service portal for your customers or your members to manage their subscription. But once you've, well, let me stop there. That's in essence the setup process and sort of the things you would do first. Any questions on that?
Yes, please. Thank you very much, Jeff. This is excellent. And yeah, I'm really interested in what you've got going on here. Just a quick question about where you've got team membership going on there. How would you go about charging your, the team per user if they were adding users on and varying that? Is that a feature that you can use?
Yeah, so one of the pretty unique aspects of our product is, in addition to regular subscription billing, we support 2 other pricing models. So as we talk about the billing system, I'll show you both, but essentially the premise of Outseta is most startup companies don't know what their pricing should be. So we're trying to make it really, really easy for you to experiment with different pricing models, that kind of thing. And we do support what we call unit-based pricing, which can be like a per user pricing model. So if you want to see what that would actually look like to the end user, this is sort of that pattern that you're going to want to repeat as you experiment with Outseta. So if I come over to billing and plans, I can click add a plan. We'll call this our per user plan. I'm going to change this just for a second. And the key with per user pricing is you want to click this editable quantity box. It's going to ask you to set a minimum quantity that needs to be purchased. So we're going to say 1. We're going to call the unit of measure users. And we're going to say it's $20 per user monthly or $200 per user annually. And if you make those sorts of changes, I gotta move my camera here, and click add, that plan now exists. And if I want to see what it looks like to the end user, I can come over to auth and embeds, click on sign up, and now I can use this visual builder to get a preview of exactly what that would look like. So I can click on, I want to show a plan, I want to show this per user plan, and we're not going to pre-select a payment term. So the user would interact with a form that looks like this. So they can come here and they can say, okay, I either want to charge my users on a monthly basis or an annual basis, and I want to sign up for, let's say, 5 users. And as they input that amount, we would then check them out for the appropriate amount.
Brilliant. And that's something that a user could change mid-term, or or as they add to their team members, it would be prompted to increase the users. Is that right?
Yes, they can interact with that profile widget that I showed earlier. They would go there, they would essentially hit, I want to change my plan, and they would just add in more users as they need them.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jeff, I was just intrigued as well. Every time you're changing the price, is that creating a new product in Stripe? Just out of interest.
No, it's not. No, there's no notion of products in Stripe. We're just calculating the appropriate price sort of based on the number of users that's input in Outseta.
Got you. Great, thank you. Has anyone else got any questions at this point? Otherwise, yeah, I'm sure Jeff will be happy to keep going. Looks like, yeah, we're all good to go.
All right. So once you've got this integrated with your site or your product, then you sort of start to grow into the other tools that Outseta offers. And the first one is the CRM. So the CRM is pretty standard CRM stuff. It has 3 different record types. There's individual people. So if you have a name and an email address for someone, they're going to have a people record in Outseta. There's accounts, which are sort of the primary record type. The thing to remember about accounts is these are going to be your paying customers. They have a subscription tied to them. And then there's deals, which is a tool to manage your sales pipeline if you are managing any sort of formal sales process. But this is where I can start to demonstrate some of the efficiencies that kick in when all these tools are stitched together. So this is our own account record. And if somebody signs up with Outseta and interacts with our signup widget, all the information that widget captures automatically creates the CRM record and populates it. So you can see for this customer what subscription plan they're on, how much they're paying, the start and end date of the subscription, their credit card information is stored on file. You can come here and you can see a complete transactional history of all past payments and invoices. And then you can also see, because we're using team mode, all the different people that are associated with this particular account. But in terms of efficiencies gained, this here where it says customer lifetime revenue is one example. This is the actual amount of money that we've made from this customer over the time that they've been using our product. And it updates in real time as new payments are collected. So it just happens automatically, and it makes it so you can pull up any CRM record and immediately see the actual value of that customer to your business. Similarly, if you come down here, we give you an activity feed for each account. It's going to pull in essentially everything that happens for that customer. So if they set up a billing plan, that's just populated because I set up that per user pricing plan. Who's logged in, all of your email interactions get pulled in, all of your support tickets get pulled in, all of your chat conversations get pulled in. So you just get a very complete picture of what's going on with every customer, and there's no data sent between tools. It all just sort of happens automatically. The account records aside, deals is how we manage our own sales pipeline. So you can create columns that reflect your own customer acquisition process. So if Act Dental here goes ahead and signs up, I would drag them over to the closed won column, and that's how we track how prospects move through our own customer acquisition funnel. And then 2 more features to show you on the CRM side. This one is particularly powerful. It's called segments. Segments in our world are just users with some sort of shared characteristic. And because you have all your billing data, all your CRM data, all your communication data flowing into the same system, you can create very, very specific segments. So there's 2 I'll show you. This one, pretty much every customer of ours sets up, and it just looks at conditions that say account billing stage equals subscribing. All that means is that this person is on a paid subscription. But if we wanted to send an email campaign to all of our paid subscribers, we use this segment to send our emails to. A much more difficult one to set up with other tools would be this one. So the condition here is we look very specifically for people that have not logged in 14 days. And because we're an authentication system, a CRM, and an email marketing system, we can set up this sort of workflow. And as soon as we recognize someone hasn't logged in 2 weeks, we use this segment to trigger an email that goes out and says, you haven't logged in 2 weeks. Did you have trouble getting started? Do you have feedback for us? Did you buy another product? That kind of thing. So these sorts of workflows become very, very quick and easy to set up. You could set this up in 2 minutes, whereas if you're doing this with a disparate CRM, authentication tool, and email marketing tool, it's probably going to take several times longer than that. And then the final piece on the CRM is the engagement tools. So this goes back to when we started the company, we were selling almost exclusively to other software companies. That's changed a bit since. But what we heard from those early customers was Outseta does everything we need it to do, except we want to know what actions people are taking inside of our software products or inside of our communities or on our website. So we built this engagement tracking suite, and it allows you to set up what we call custom events, which are any sort of interesting happenings on your site, in your community, within your SaaS product, whatever it might be. And then you can track them on this dashboard, and you can see which actions either your paying subscribers are taking or your prospects in this case, if I change things over to trialing. So I can see amongst our customer base which accounts are using support tickets, which are sending email broadcasts, who's activating e-payments, all these sorts of things. And when I look at our paid subscribers, I can sort of look at this through a customer success lens and say, you know, this customer is using features A and B, but not C and D. Why don't we reach out and introduce them to additional features that would be beneficial to them? If I flip it over to trialing, I'm looking at people that haven't signed up for a paid subscription yet, and I can see which of those accounts are actively engaging with the product and probably more likely to convert to paying customers. So that's the CRM in a nutshell. And next I'll jump into the communication tools. So on the email front, I think of Outseta as like a very lightweight version of MailChimp or ConvertKit, something like that. It allows you to send either email broadcasts or automated drip campaigns. So if you come over here to email broadcasts, you can see all these campaigns that we've already sent, but you just click add a broadcast, you know, give your broadcast a name. You can upload email lists that you want to target, or you can choose from segments that you've set up. On the next step, you actually go ahead and author your email. Again, you'll see a live preview of what that email would look like once sent, and then you just schedule the email to go out. Drip campaigns work the exact same way. They're just automated series of emails. So we use these for lead nurturing and onboarding new users, for example. But it's just a series of emails that are going to be time delayed one after the other. So this is our onboarding sequence, for example. And then the help desk. So the help desk has three primary features. The first is a support ticketing system. So the way that this works is we give you an email address that would be like support@yourcompanyname.com or help@yourcompanyname.com. And if somebody emails that email address, it creates a support ticket in a shared inbox that looks like this. You can then assign the ticket to whoever the appropriate person on your team is to respond. And then reply directly from here. So it's just a way to make sure that all of your customer service requests are routed to the same place and can be distributed amongst your team and not sort of slipping through the cracks in your own personal email inbox. The second feature here is the knowledge base. So the knowledge base is how you can publish any sort of how-to content, product documentation, that kind of thing. You just jump in here, you give your article a title, you can include screenshots, videos, text, all those kinds of things. And once you publish your article, we give you a publicly accessible knowledge base that will look like this. It gets skinned for your business, so it will use your color schemes, your logo, all those sorts of things. But your users can come here, they can submit a request for help at any point, they can search through your content, or they can jump right into your articles and start reading your content. So if any of you on this call do end up using Outseta, this is a great place to go to sort of learn how to use the platform and get all your questions answered. And then the final piece is our live chat widget. So just like every other website these days, if you come to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you can open up our live chat widget and start a conversation with us. Those conversations then flow into Outseta into an inbox that you'll see here. Sorry, it's taking a minute to load. But these are, this is essentially where you can come to interact with customers. And there's sort of two ways that you can use this feature. The first is you can just put it on your website and talk to traffic that you don't necessarily know who the person is. So that's what you're seeing here, although this was actually me doing some testing earlier. But it will show up as unknown if you don't know who the person on the other end of the chat is. Or you can implement the chat within your product, within your community, within your site, so that you're only chatting with members who have logged in. And in that case, you know who the person is, and your conversation will get tied to their account record. But those are really the main pieces of functionality. There's a couple other minor things I'll throw in here at the end. So in terms of the billing system, we talked about this a little bit already, but we have a notion of plan families, which is also a fairly unique feature. So plan families are pricing plans that have been grouped together. So if you wanted to display 3 or 4 specific plans to a user at once, you can group them into a plan family. But the idea behind this feature is you can create as many plan families as you want, and then just toggle them on or off, and your pricing on your website will update automatically. So by doing that, it's really, really easy to experiment with pricing. You don't have to go back into Stripe and create new products and make any updates to your website. You just toggle a plan family on or off. So we used to literally every month or every quarter just update to a new plan family and run pricing experiments that way. And it makes it really, really easy to do so, especially for no-code users. Finally, you can also always come here to Invoices and manually invoice a customer. So if you wanted to just charge them a one-off fee, you can just click Add an Invoice, select your account, enter line items, and bill users that way as well. And last but not least, there are some additional integrations that are worth mention and some other tools. Let me move this. So if you come over here to settings, there's a notification system built into the product. So this is really meant for internal notifications, but if you click add a notification, there's all kinds of different notifications you can set up. A common one is you can get an update on your phone if there's a new chat conversation happening on your website when you're not in front of it. But the most fun one is you can set up a notification every time you get a new paid subscription, which would just send you an email saying, hey, you have a new paid subscriber on your $99 a month plan. So you can keep yourself and your team sort of updated with regards to all sorts of important happenings within your Outseta account. And then the final 2 items of note, there are 2 integrations that are worth mention at this point. So we do have an open API for more technical users. We do have a very robust Zapier integration, but we have native integrations built with a product called Rewardful, which is used for affiliate management. So if you want to compensate people for referring business to your business, you can set up Rewardful and it will pay out commissions for traffic that gets sent to your site by others. And we also have a single sign-on, actually we're working on another one, but we have a single sign-on integration with a tool called Circle, which is commonly used for community management. So it allows you to essentially manage your Circle community using Outseta and control access to what members can sort of access within their Circle community based on their membership level in Outseta. But that's a lot of information and pretty much the entire tool end to end. So I'll pause there.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there. It's and slightly in awe. But yeah, we'll dive into questions now. I certainly have quite a few, but of course I will let the community speak first if they have questions. And obviously, as it's a quite an intimate group today, feel free to come off mute. But if you can't, then just let me know. So Tony, I see you've got a question. Maybe if you could ask that yourself, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, is there like just like a native app version that, you know, just so you have it on your phone to see like that high level stuff, like, oh, it made me think of it when you were showing the email one, just because like your email box can like fill up. Sometimes it's easier. Hey, someone paid, you get like dinged on your phone from a mobile app notification as opposed to that hit in the email box?
Yeah, so the product is mobile friendly. You can use the vast majority of the functionality on your phone, but there is not a native mobile app at this time. It's definitely something that has been requested, particularly around chat. So it's coming, but not there at this point.
Awesome. Has anyone else got any questions? Yeah, for Jeff. As I said, feel free to come off mute.
Yeah, I had one. Jeff, I was wondering, you mentioned that this was primarily made for companies who were setting up SaaS products of their own. But what about now? Are you sort of moving into other areas, or?
Yeah, that's a good question. So 4 years ago when we started, point blank, we were dead focused on founders of other software companies. And we were sort of scratching our own itch and saying, this is a better solution. Let's build it for other software companies like ourselves. Long story short, I would say we learned the hard way that it's difficult to change the behavior of developers. And even if we're trying to sell them on speed to market and sort of the benefits of all these tools being integrated from the get-go, developers are fairly stubborn and tend to over-architect the technology solutions they need at the very early stage of a business. So we luckily stumbled across sort of the no-code community roughly at the beginning of 2020. And that really changed everything for us, to be honest with you. Basically, the no-code community doesn't have the same level of technical proficiency to integrate all these systems and make them work together really, really tightly that their developer counterparts do. And no-code founders sort of looked at the product and said, wow, it does all these things that I need it to do to launch my business quickly in a way that developers typically didn't. So our customer base today is roughly split between the two. It's probably slightly more towards the no-code community and membership site angle at this point than it is towards developers, but we do continue to serve both.
And like, forgive me, no, I think I'm going to ask a very stupid question. I feel like this is a stupid question.
I'm sure it's not.
So how is this comparing with MemberStack?
No, it's not a stupid question at all.
Okay, save. Thank you.
It is very, very, very similar to MemberStack when it comes to authentication and payments. So MemberStack gives you a way to log people in and out of your product and charge them. Outseta does those same things. One feature set that I actually didn't showcase, I just forgot to, was you can set up protected content just like in MemberStack. So you basically specify URLs or folders of content that people should be able to access based off of their subscription level or not. So everything around payments, authentication, and content protection, MemberStack and Outseta are eerily similar, to be honest with you. Okay. The differentiator for us is kind of twofold, or at least there's kind of two reasons we tend to get customers from MemberStack or that are also considering MemberStack. One is the team mode that I showed you. So if you do sell to companies and you need people to share a subscription, that's something that's fairly unique to us. But really the bigger differentiator for us is the all-in-one nature of the product. So MemberStack doesn't have the email, the CRM, the help desk, those other features that you'll need sort of after you launch your business that we provide.
I'm just off the top of my head, because we work with a lot of small businesses and we consult on their systems and everything. This would be awesome to, I mean, not that I'm saying you should change your business plan, but some of the businesses would love this kind of login and setup for their clients. So it's not just members of their online business, but like actual physical businesses.
Yeah.
But I think it's just falling short of what they need there. But because HubSpot, I find, is just getting too pricey for them.
Sure.
And it's too advanced, whereas I'm finding like the CRM and the email, it's simple enough. The dashboard is nice. But that's just a thought. But thank you for sharing.
No, that makes total sense. And to be honest with you, increasingly HubSpot and Outseta have similar functionality. We are very specifically trying to serve the lower end of the market, the startup companies that are just getting started. And frankly, you know, we can do so at a much better price point, but we think that's an end of the market that HubSpot's not that interested in anyways. They make, you know, they make money selling much bigger contracts than we do, and we want to be the best solution for an early stage company.
Fair enough. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Awesome. I see. Firstly, yeah, great questions, Priyanka. That weren't stupid at all. But I see a question from David around whether the your Outseta is mobile friendly, or it actually has like a PWA that you can kind of add onto your app screen.
Yeah, it's just mobile friendly at this point. There isn't a separate app, and there are some screens that do not work, but all of the sort of core functionality works on a mobile device.
Awesome. Thanks for clearing that up. Cool. Anyone else for questions to Jeff?
Yeah, I got another one. This one might be kind of like a hyper specific use case, but I run like a freelance business, and I've been thinking about how best I can have like a maintenance contract on where someone can reach out, and then it basically creates like a ticket. And I already have like, you know, freelance software that does proposals and contracts and all of that stuff.
Yep.
But given that you have like an invoicing, it seems like that would be kind of like a good thing to have. My real question though is like, I then also was like, oh, I also have this micro SaaS idea. Obviously every no coder has an idea. It's not there yet, but is there a way to basically be running both of those from the same Outseta account? I have something that I'm doing kind of innately, and then there's this other product, and I'm not sure how. Maybe I missed it when you were going like through the different things. Like you've got this product family and then this product family, or is that something that can be pulled off, where you've got multiple type subscriptions to kind of mutually exclusive products?
Yeah, the short answer is you can use plan families or that visual builder that I showed you to implement the sign up process for different products on as many different landing pages as you want. So from that perspective, you could, you know, sign people up for different sorts of products and manage them from within the same Outseta account. The limitation is around branding for the most part. So your emails, your knowledge base, all those sorts of things are going to pull in your logo and your brand colors, and you can only associate them with a single brand. So that can result in some funky workflows, like if your sign up emails and your set password emails have the branding of one business on them, but you're sort of using it for the other business, that's a potential point of confusion. So the guidance in most cases is if you're working with different brands or different companies, you should manage them out of a different Outseta account.
Gotcha. Can you have multiple emails though? Like email, like, hey, all the stuff to the Microsofts is like from like a no reply at same brand name, same domain name as the other one, or an admin at where, and then my personal, like for any freelance stuff or anything I was running personally, can you manage multiple email addresses like that? Because the branding doesn't because you just do it presented by, and I'm happy with that.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'll kind of ask away some bits. Feel free to come.
Yeah, that's. I did look at Outseta sometime last year, and I was extremely impressed with it. But I've not had a course to use it yet. But it's I think you've obviously moved on a little bit in terms of the features. But you've answered a question just then from Tony. I was wondering if you had. It is one Outseta account per product, if you like, per SaaS, per website, per outlet.
Sure.
Is there anything in the pipeline to manage multiple outlets, or would that just be too much of a headache?
No, you can totally do that. So let's see if this will work for you. So if I come to our own website, for example, and I click on login and I go to login, let's see, or actually I'll log in with Google. I have 1 million Outseta accounts associated with my name, as you might expect. So this is essentially the experience you would see. It would say, okay, you've got these different accounts. Which ones do you want to log into?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Perfect. And what about any plans for some A/B testing to sort of include with the drip campaign or anything like that? You know, with is there any feature?
Yeah, good question. I would say A/B testing is definitely a natural growth area for us. At this point, in all honesty, I view our email marketing system as one of the weaknesses of our product. What it's really, really good at is allowing you to target very specific segments of customers. So it's sort of surgical in who you can deliver emails to. It is somewhat limited around testing features, and it also doesn't offer like hundreds of pre-built templates in the same way that a MailChimp would. But if you're fine with sort of a relatively simply designed email template, or if you know how to design email templates yourself, it's really, really good at targeting.
Lovely. And just one final question, if I might. With MemberStack, you can't really have a barrier to sensitive information. Do you restrict access in the same method as MemberStack, or
yeah, it's the same way in the sense that if a user does technically know how to disable JavaScript on their computer, yeah, they can do so and technically gain access to protected content. Yeah. I'll tell you, we get this question all the time. We've never heard of it actually happening. But the guidance is if you have really sensitive like financial data or healthcare data or anything like that, you should look at using a different, more secure product.
Lovely. Thank you very much. I think it's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I just wanted to chip in there as well in terms of what the process is like for transitioning onto Outseta. So whether that is a subscription-based business and they've already got customers and accounts elsewhere, or it's a community that they've got existing users. So kind of it would be, I guess it's different for every community or business that's coming on to here, but what's the process for actually setting up if you've already got an existing system and customers and etc.?
Sure, good question. In short, we try to intercept companies as early as possible so that we don't have to migrate them from other tools and get them to switch over and whatnot, but we do these migrations constantly. So in short, there's 3 pieces of information or 3 groups of information that you would need to import into Outseta. You are essentially, as a potential customer considering migrating, responsible for exporting some data from your existing tools and sending it to us, but we will import your data for free. We'll massage it, make sure it's in the right format, double check with you, make sure everything looks good prior to import, and then actually handle the import ourselves. If you want us to, you're also fully free to give this a shot yourself. But the 3 pieces of information at a high level, if you have another CRM or another membership software product and you have sort of basic, what we'll call member info or account info, a name, an email address, LinkedIn profiles, website URLs, whatever you have, you can import that into Outseta, and that's sort of the first bit of data that you're going to want to bring over. But the interesting part is if you're migrating from any other product that processes payments with Stripe, we can also bring over all your payment data and all your subscription data. So the process is completely smooth for the end user, really. The only thing they have to do is establish a new password with Outseta, but they don't need to update their credit card information or anything like that. So there's essentially subscription data and then credit card data. The subscription data is things like when did the subscription start, most importantly, when does the subscription renew? So we know when to charge them for the first time via Outseta. And are they on like a monthly subscription or annual subscription? Those sorts of things. And then the credit card information, if you are coming from Stripe, you can just do an export from your Stripe account and it will give you essentially a payment token that is all the credit card information encrypted, and we can bring that over with the import as well. So for your customer, once we import all this data into Outseta, they will just get charged by Outseta on their next subscription renewal date. So we've got it pretty dialed. The one ask is you do have to establish a new password.
Got you. Awesome. So and just to clarify, so the users you're importing, they would all have to create accounts, I'm assuming. Yeah, what's that process?
Yeah, they don't even need to do that. So when we import this file that has the account information, the subscription information, and the payment information,
yeah,
all of that happens in Outseta. Their account exists. We know when the subscription should renew. We've got their payment info. The only thing the user has to do is essentially go to your website and go through a set your password workflow. So they establish a password with Outseta. We can't migrate over password information from other products for security reasons. But.
Got you. Yeah. Tony said, sounds like 100 days of no code may be moving. Yeah, you could be on something there, Tony. Yeah. So is it before just opening it up again? I guess this ties into an overall roadmap question, but I saw that you had the Bubble integration sort of in the works. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and how that may play out?
Yeah, so it's something we have a guy named Kieran Ball, you may be familiar with from the no code world. He's one of many people that reached out interested in integrating Outseta with Bubble. And he said, hey, we're essentially willing to do the work. We publish Bubble tutorials anyways. We'd love to figure out how to integrate these two products so Bubble users can sort of build their product in Bubble and then manage their business in Outseta. So Kieran and his co-founder, Kevin, are currently working on that. It's something they just started in the last week or so. So I don't have a firm timeline of when that will be live yet. But we're always interested in integrations like that with other no-code tools. And that's one that I think makes a ton of sense.
Big time. Yeah, no, that's particularly exciting. And to an extension of that is any other exciting things on the roadmap, on the horizon that Outseta users or potential users have to look forward to?
Yeah, there's two things coming immediately. I showed you the sign up, login, and profile widgets. We are launching a completely redesigned and rebuilt version of those three widgets, which are really sort of the core functionality of our product, that are just have better performance, better design, and they also support quarterly and lifetime subscriptions, which we don't yet support today. So those are things you'll see come online in the next month or two that we're excited about. But generally, what I tell people when it comes to our roadmap is Outseta is a huge product as it is. We're not going to be building a lot of new features per se. I think what you'll see us do is take our existing features, whether it's email or the help desk or the CRM or the billing system, and go a little bit deeper with them. So we don't have, true feature parity with MailChimp on the email marketing side, for example. And I think you'll see us move closer and closer to having that feature parity over time.
Awesome. No, sounds good. I see we are on the home straight. So please, if anyone has any more questions for Jeff, then now's the time. David, so any plans to add multi-factor login? From David. Not sure.
We've heard it before. It hasn't been requested that highly, so I can't say it's on our immediate roadmap, but it is something we've heard.
Awesome.
I had a question. If we were looking to create a platform where you're serving sort of two different customer groups, do you have options for different pipelines for different types of members?
Yep. So you can, on your sign up form, there's a few different ways to handle this, but one is you can create pricing plans essentially for each member type and have like isolated sign up pages where each member type can sign up. You can also just add like a checklist button to the sign up form that says, are you person type A or person type B? And use that information to create segments, for example. But that's something that we see fairly commonly. And I think between setting up different plans and different segments, you can typically support those two different user types.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Great. Cool. Anyone else before we close up? I don't think so. Yeah, this has been a really interesting session, and so excited to use the tool. I wondered if you had any final sort of closing words for us, Jeff, before we close this workshop up.
Yeah, I think the thing I like to leave everybody with and be very forthcoming if you're actually looking at potentially using Outseta is, if you compare Outseta to all the competitive products that we compete against, we do not have feature parity. But I think the benefit of having all these tools in a single platform for an early stage business is that much more important. So said another way, yes, you're going to make some sacrifices in terms of functionality, but our bet is, those sacrifices as an early stage business don't really matter that much. We give you sort of the tools you need to get off the ground, start to grow, and certainly enough to do that. So that's how I kind of think of the product. And I think the more early stage companies can look at any software product or their business in general through the lens of how can we simplify things and how can we get our products to market more quickly, that's almost always a good thing.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great words to leave us on. Well, thanks so much everyone for dropping by. Thanks again, Jeff, for your time and showing us this awesome platform. And yeah, it'll be great to have you on at some point soon again to share with more people. So have a great rest of your week, everyone. I'll be uploading this recording if you want to check it out in some more depth in a couple of days' time. And yeah, thanks again and see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers. Bye.
Take care.